What is up, y'all? Pardon the hair. I literally just woke up. Welcome to another episode of Show After RoW. Now, I haven't been able to go to a lot of RoW shows these past couple weeks because there was a lot of stuff going on. But I managed to finally be able to come to this one, and I won't lie to you guys. Every so often, I forget that there's people who remember me and like me over there. Sometimes I just like there's something called object permanence where I think you sort of forget your place in the universe, so to speak. So you just think that it's like you believe that people will immediately forget you simply because you're not in their line of sight, and I have that. And when I finally got back over there to be able to help out for the show, there was people who was actually genuinely glad to see me, and that makes me feel good. And because I have terrible memory, there's a great chance that I'm going to feel good every single time that happens because I'm going to always forget that people remember me. Depression is a hell of a condition. In any case, though, I go over there and, got a chance to talk with some people, which is always good. Got a chance to talk with some members. There's people in the audience that remember who I am because there's people who actually who interact with there's people there's a we have like regular people who show up to every show, and those people are and a lot of them recognize me as the camera guy. So I always think that I think that that's pretty dope. I thought that was pretty cool because there's these people who get the same spot like in this area behind me all the time, and they say, "Oh, you came back," and I'm like going, "Oh my god, I don't remember who I am." That's crazy, and that always feels good. Um, yeah, but it always once again it always feels good just to be able to like actually go to the show. For me, that's my church. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to get like too. I don't want to get too religious about it, but I will say that for some people, church is a place where you can go to where you feel comfortable at, and church is a place where you go to where even if you're not in getting involved in the thing that the thing is known for, it's still just a good feeling to physically be there. For some people, that is going to the gym. For other people, it's going to the movies. For other people, it's being at home. The idea is that you can go there and it'll make you feel good even if it's not doing the thing that you expected to do. For example, for me, I go to Reality of Wrestling. Reality of Wrestling, you expect to go over there to see the show, but I can go over there just to hang out and I will feel good. Like I don't think I've ever seen anybody just go to church just to hang out before. I've never seen that, but you know, because when you go to church, it's like you're going over there because you're expecting a sermon. Um, you're expecting a sermon. You're expecting, fellowship and stuff like that. But it's like over where I'm at, like I said, we just for a good little bit of time, we could just go there, hang out, talk about wrestling, and remember that remember that there's something out there that's bigger than us that we can enjoy that won't hurt us, figuratively speaking. But yeah, that felt really good. There was even a part up in there where I will say this though, when it comes to professional wrestling, personally for me, smaller crowds are better. I like smaller crowds. There's this big talk in professional wrestling communities, whereas no, you need to have a big audience. You have to have this ginormous audience. Ticket sales has to be through the roof with like a zillion. You have to have it take place in a zillion person coliseum with like people in the nosebleeds getting bigger nosebleeds than the people in the regular nosebleeds. I mean, but for me, I like smaller crowds. When you see when there's smaller crowds, it feels like there's like a more personal feel to it. It feels like there's less of a It feels like it feels like you have a bigger reach with a smaller crowd. It's weird, but it's like when you're the smaller, I don't know if people watch old school NXT, but old school NXT, bro, like that was not a big crowd, but those people loved it. Like that crowd made the show. You know what I'm saying? They weren't out in the nosebleeds; they were like right there. You know, and that's kind of like something that you really go to appreciate. It's like you could you could scream as loud as you want in an area with a small crowd, and everybody heard it. Also, 10 people cheering sounds like 100 people cheering. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the area is empty and it got echoing off, and you gotta like echoing off the walls. You know what I mean? You can lose your mind. You can go crazy with it. You can just like you can chant, you can scream, and people understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about, especially because like me personally, I would hate to be at a big arena at the nosebleeds because I've been in a nosebleeds before, and the ring looks like an action figure ring. If you ever had like a ring, the action figure ring, it literally looks just like that. You're just like, whether or not you like, I just don't like the idea of smaller shows being given this much of a bad rep because it doesn't feel authentic as a fan to just be like, oh well, this company doesn't make enough money, so it's not doing that well, lol, because that's not the case. That's not always going to be the case. It doesn't have to be about money. It has to be about the show. I'm up in there. I got chance before the show even started because I decided to be. I was bored, so I played a game of the invisible ball where I would pass an invisible ball to some of the other staff members that just happened to be working, just to kind of keep people riled up, and then crowd members wanted to get involved in it. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call. I'm getting a chant. I'm getting a chant, because I'm the camera guy, and I'm pointing to the other camera guys like, you mean this guy? And they get cheered. I mean, like, you're talking about that guy, and they get cheered. It was cool. And it was a smaller event. It was a lot less people there, and it was a lot less people there, and I got a pop. Maybe I just maybe I'm not trying to make the show about me or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that like with smaller crowds you can do more. With smaller crowds you can enjoy it more. With smaller crowds sound just as loud. Ooh, that's a bar. What y'all think? Smaller crowds sound just as loud. It does. Because whether you're working in front of 20 people or 2,000 people, you're working. And that's something I really do feel like, it feels like such a non-issue and such a non-discussion that people have made into a discussion because look at those empty seats. It's just, empty seats don't look bad. Like, empty seats don't really be looking bad to me. I don't know. I don't care about the empty seats. I'm not caring about what's going on in the crowd when I'm watching, like, a big show. I'm watching the match. I'm hearing the crowd. The crowd is sound. The crowd is background noise. I'm watching what's going on in the ring. And people up in here like, empty seats mean the show does not make any money, which is like, if it didn't, like, it wouldn't be around. I feel like if a company's been around for like 5 years, if a business has been around for 5 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, let it cook. You know what I'm saying? Just let it cook. Maybe that's just me though. I'm weird like that, but that's just something that I really do feel like we kind of do need to sort of. I feel like that's a non-issue that we just need to like not talk about anymore because it's like tickets. Like, you're a fan, you're one ticket. Just because you can't just be like applauding the efforts of other people because, like, let's face it, you didn't buy a ticket, did you? Were you there? You could have filled that seat. But I can gripe about that all day. But that's what I'm saying though, is that like I went to RoW, I had a good time as I always do. Got a chance to interact with some of my favorite wrestlers. It's always cool when your favorite wrestler knows your name and understand and knows you. It always feels good about that. Like, that's a good feeling to have. Like, I feel like me and Terrell Tempo are bros. You know what I'm saying? Or I feel like me and I feel like I get along with Oro Mensah because we had a little bit of an interaction before. Also, shout out to Ghana. I feel like I can have a good conversation with the likes of Quentin Winters, and the like. There's a whole bunch of other wrestlers that I could like interact with backstage, and they're just cool with it. Sure, I had a bit of a heart to heart with Eli Knight. Eli Knight's gonna be one of y'all favorite wrestlers one day. It's just crazy though. It's crazy what this experience does for me, and I enjoy it. And small audience, big audience, no audience, doesn't matter. I still love the company, and I still love the business. I just kind of wish other people did as well. But this ain't gonna be about chastising fans because of ticket sales, blah blah blah. This is gonna be about me saying reality of wrestling is still an amazing show. You'll find yourself enjoying it, and no, give it up for Camera Guy, but also give it up for the actual business. Let's appreciate that, because for a long time it wasn't this massive. Love and peace, y'all. I am trying to get back into training. Money is still getting tight. I know that's that's becoming a freaking catchphrase. I know, but money is tight. Things are expensive. Things are going up in price. So, just gonna have to bear with me on that. But I'm still working towards it. I'm still aiming towards trying to get back in there, and I am also trying to get in shape before I get back into training, because your boy's about to learn how to swim, because swimming leads to diving, and diving leads to we'll talk about that later though. Love and peace to every single one of y'all out there. I hope that everything is turning out great, and I'll see you in the ring.